Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Joint operation or action. Their cooperation with us was essential for the success of our mission. The practice of cooperating. Economic cooperation. Action taken by a group of people. A customary way of operation or behavior. They changed their dietary pattern. A perceptual structure. A visual pattern must include not only objects but the spaces between them. Something intended as a guide for making something else. A pattern for a skirt. A decorative or artistic work. The path that is prescribed for an airplane that is preparing to land at an airport. The traffic patterns around O'Hare are very crowded. Something regarded as a normative example. Graphical representation, in polar or Cartesian coordinates, of the spatial distribution of radiation from an antenna as a function of angle. Plan or create according to a model or models. A model considered worthy of imitation. The American Constitution has provided a pattern for many republics. Form a pattern. These sentences pattern like the ones we studied before. Translating an idea into action. A hard theory to put into practice. A customary way of operation or behavior. It is their practice to give annual raises. Avail oneself to. Practice a religion. Systematic training by multiple repetitions. Practice makes perfect. Learn by repetition. Pianists practice scales. Engage in a rehearsal, of. Engage in or perform. Practice safe sex. Carry out or practice, as of jobs and professions. Practice law. Knowledge of how something is usually done. It is not the local practice to wear shorts to dinner. The exercise of a profession. The practice of the law. The loyalty that citizens owe to their country, or subjects to their sovereign. The act of binding yourself, intellectually or emotionally, to a course of action. Act of working jointly. Act of cooperating traitorously with an enemy that is occupying your country. Act of working jointly. They worked either in collaboration or independently. Act of cooperating traitorously with an enemy that is occupying your country. A message that makes a pledge. The trait of sincere and steadfast fixity of purpose. A man of energy and commitment. The official act of consigning a person to confinement, as in a prison or mental hospital. The act of binding yourself, intellectually or emotionally, to a course of action. His long commitment to public service. An engagement by contract involving financial obligation. His business commitments took him to London. A disposition or tendency to yield to the will of others. The act of submitting, usually surrendering power to another. Acting according to certain accepted standards. A middle way between two extremes. An accommodation in which both sides make concessions. The newly elected congressman rejected a compromise because they considered it business as usual. Expose or make liable to danger, suspicion, or disrepute. The nuclear secrets of the state were compromised by the spy. Make a compromise. Arrive at a compromise. Nobody will get everything he wants, we all must compromise. Settle by concession. Acting together, as agents or circumstances or events. A state of cooperation. Agreement of results or opinions. The temporal property of two things happening at the same time. Acting together, as agents or circumstances or events. Agreement of results or opinions. Any spatial attributes, especially as defined by outline. Acting according to certain accepted standards. A symmetrical arrangement of the parts of a thing. Orthodoxy in thoughts and belief. Correspondence in form or appearance. Acting according to certain accepted standards. Their financial statements are in conformity with generally accepted accounting practices. Concurrence of opinion. Hardened conventionality. A message that makes a pledge. A short message, as in a book or musical work or on a photograph, dedicating it to someone or something. The act of binding yourself, intellectually or emotionally, to a course of action. A ceremony in which something, as a building, is dedicated to some goal or purpose. Complete and wholehearted fidelity. The quality of being loyal. The act of binding yourself, intellectually or emotionally, to a course of action. They felt no loyalty to a losing team. Feelings of allegiance. A middle way between two extremes. Cooperative work done by a team, especially when it is effective. It will take money, good planning and, above all, teamwork. The act of dwelling in a place. Acting according to certain accepted standards. The act of abiding, enduring without yielding. Act of cooperating traitorously with an enemy that is occupying your country. The re-establishing of cordial relations. The re-establishing of cordial relations. Getting two things to correspond. The reconciliation of his checkbook and the bank statement. A presentation to the mind in the form of an idea or image. The state of serving as an official and authorized delegate or agent. A performance of a play. A body of legislators that serve in behalf of some constituency. A congressional vacancy occurred in the representation from California. A creation that is a visual or tangible rendering of someone or something. A factual statement made by one party in order to induce another party to enter into a contract. The sales contract contains several representations by the vendor. An activity that stands as an equivalent of something or results in an equivalent. A statement of facts and reasons made in appealing or protesting. Certain representations were made concerning police brutality. The act of representing, standing in for someone or some group and speaking with authority in their behalf. The right of being represented by delegates who have a voice in some legislative body. Acting with less concern for yourself than for the success of the joint activity. Acting with less concern for yourself than for the success of the joint activity. The quality of unselfish concern for the welfare of others.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.